Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, Ellen. Hi, Karen. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Sue Ellen. How are you? Come on in. Say hello. Tell me something good. Come on. What's happening? Hello, Mr. Bibb. Moving all my work stuff from in front of me. How are you? How are you? Is life good? Yes? I hope? Yes, indeed. So I thought, oh wow, where'd my mouse go? It's just like all over the place here. Woo, come back here, Mr. Mouse. Oh, there it is. All right, it's Friday. That's always good. That's right. That's right, for sure. Very long, short week. Jess, very long, short week. Life is great. That's good. Hi, Debbie. I see you. Good to see you. So how is it going? How was your week? Tell me about all the great things that happened to you. Hey, Susan, good to see you. It's been a good week here. Life is good. It's a bit colder here than I like it, to be quite honest. Like, y'all people up north need to come get your weather. It's drunk, something for sure. So, yeah. I can't stand this 40-degree weather. We need to get rid of it. I need my 70s and 80s back. 100%. Spring training baseball starts today. Gosh, kind of cold for all that, right? Sue Ann says 5 years with Avon and Scentsy. So thankful for all the love in the past 2 weeks. There you go. That's what it's all about. That's what we like to hear. God let me wake up today. Ellen, isn't that the truth? So many, everybody who makes it on here should be happy about that. Should be happy that yes, that you are here to say hello. 100%. 100%. So good to see you. Hello, Lori. Good to see you, my friend. Glad you blipped up on my screen. I like that. Did I blip up? Did I blip? Blip, blip. Here I am. So, what is happening? Hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit. Ooh, Bib. Hi, Kim. I see Kim. Kim, you're way on up there. I missed you, girl. Goodness. Here we go. Goodness, goodness. 3 foot of snow in your front yard. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. I got a veteran, a second chance to get into a home today, so that's good. That is great, Joss. That is very good, man. We appreciate our veterans. Isn't that the truth? She's slippery like that. Ha ha ha, Bev. That's funny. So, what is going on in your world? Come on, tell me. Well, let me start. What's going on in my world? Well, Lee and I will be leaving for Miami on Tuesday. Um, we will be down there for the Market America Leadership School. Massive excitement about that. That was my very first event last year, so I have almost been in a year. I think it'll be a year, March the 9th, something like that. So excited to go down there and see what new products that they're bringing us. Hey, Karen, good to see you. Um, and what they're bringing us in the health line. I know we have some new things that are coming in the makeup line. So our beauty line is extending again, so that's exciting. They are going to be celebrating people, which is always a good thing when you watch people get celebrated, right? Like to clap for people, and we will get to see Mr. Steve Boston, and that is always a plus 100%. I have quite a few people from the team going down there with me, so a lot of people I haven't seen in a while. Some people I saw probably about 6 months ago at Icon, which is our conference. Kim says, enjoying the day in the craft room, making a mess, working on a new art side hustle. Hey, that's very cool. I like to hear that. Um, but all in all, life is good. Got a couple of new customers this week. That could be wonderful. I know. Let me see. I'm trying to think who. One of the girls on our team got a new sign up. Actually, two girls this week got a sign up, which is great. So two new people added to our team, which is wonderful. People hitting their bonuses, which is wonderful too. My work phone is ringing after hours. Be back as soon as possible. Okay, Jess, we'll wait for you. We got you. Um, so on that it'll be a weekend full of packing, that kind of thing, and can't wait to get down where it's warm, right? Like Florida, don't mess up. Be warm, please. Be warm, 100%. Um, I wasn't sure exactly if this would be the night, but I figured with me doing packing and stuff, probably would be better for me to come on tonight than to come on tomorrow night. I'll get all involved with what I'm doing, but I know a lot of people are busy. I know we don't have a lot of people on here right now, but that's okay because they can see the the replay. Next Friday, we won't be able to do it because I will still be in Miami. But we will try to hop back to it. I am going to see how far I get with doing this on Friday nights like we used to. The one thing we may do is we may do it a little bit later. We may do it trying to give the West Coast time to get off work, get home, get dinner. So maybe do it about 8 o'clock or so, sometime around there, and try to get back to a norm where we can actually post it as an event that will happen every single week unless something happens and we're out of town or something. So that is a good thing. Um, Trying to think what's happening for all of you that are in Avon. Are you hitting your goals? Are you making the money? Are you doing that? Is business growing? Um, if it's not growing, why isn't it growing? Like, what is it that you have to do? What is it? And by the way, not just Avon, any business. Whether it's, Scentsy, or whether you're in Mary Kay, or rather you are in any of the other direct selling companies that are out there. Remember, guys, it's not free reign to advertise your business, but it is free reign to let us hear about your success and what you're doing. Sue Ellen says, getting new customers. That is a plus. Way to go, Sue Ellen. That's wonderful. Always good to hear that. Always good to hear that, people are able to put gas in their gas tank and buy eggs because their egg price is crazy or what? Hey, Becca, how are you, babe? Good to see you. Um, Crazy, crazy the price of eggs. And can I say, we eat a lot of eggs. So we have found some people down here that we're going to be buying their eggs from because to get them at the store, it is absolutely crazy, 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 crazy. So I don't know about all that. Um, so let me think. What else is going on? What else was this other thing I was going to share with you guys today? I was laughing. Um, Hold on, I gotta find it. Upgrade. Okay, here's what it is. I thought this was kind of funny. I have this thing that's called Life Hacks 2025 calendar, right? So this is kind of cool. And the other day, the life hack was upgrade your Oreos by whisking an egg, some milk, and 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil together. Stir in some pancake mix and dip Oreos in the batter and deep fry them. I didn't know that's what they did. I didn't think it was pancake batter. I just don't know what I thought it was, but I didn't think that's what it was. When you go to the fairs and you get like the deep fried Twinkies and Oreos and all the rest of the things that are going to kill us one day. Hey, Michelle, good to see ya. Um, And I thought, okay, well, that might be something. Except from what I'm figuring out, Oreos is not the healthiest thing right now. Have y'all seen that? Have you seen the TikTok and the Instagram reel that's going around where they take the blowtorch to the Oreo cookie and it doesn't do anything to it? That's like the craziest thing ever. Like I was like, I don't need to be eating them because if that is hitting my stomach, that is not a good thing. That is not a good thing at all. Um, so that may not be the best thing. I mean, we have been cooking more at home, which is great. Uh, just being able to do home cooked meals, and then of course, how many caught the cooking show? I call it the cooking show, but it was like in the spur of a moment, I saw Linda Montavon put up putting a her pot roast in the a crock pot where she was getting ready to share some products too. And can I tell you, they're like I was like, she's inspiring me. I need to get my tail back to doing this is what I need to do. I need to get back to sharing recipes and get back to cooking on here. And so out of the blue, I already knew what we were having for dinner that night. So I decided to do it. But that felt really good to be back and into the whole cooking thing, which is great. Lori said, if I'm lucky, I can get eggs on sale for $9.99. Oh, $9.99 for $6.99. Who would ever think you'd have to pay $6.99 for eggs? $7 for a dozen eggs? Oh my gosh, that is so freaking crazy. Many are $15 a dozen, more empty shelves. Ugh, my ZD Bake. Oh yeah, I'm still waiting for your cookbook. Everybody's waiting for my cookbook, Susan. I had gotten away from penning, and when I say penning, I mean PENN, penning, writing them down. I'm finally back to writing my recipes down again. I had gotten really good at that when I was doing the cooking show, making sure that I was securing them and putting them down, all of the good things. And then when I had to go back to door dashing and everything, and I was doing it so much, there was no cooking, and there certainly wasn't me fixing a lot of stuff. So it has been 100% great to be able to say now I can start doing that again because so many things. I am a cook by taste person. I always have been. But when you all started asking me for recipes, I had to really start paying attention and start measuring out what I was doing. So that is what I have. And I have some. I have some of my best ones that are penned. But yeah, yeah. And most of my recipes are pretty easy because I don't like hard things for sure. Don't like hard things. Let me go back here. So hopefully, Susan, that will be. I will make no promises as to when, but at least I'm back to it, so that feels good, 100%. Yep, I am back, Rebecca. We're gonna try to do this on Friday nights. I will miss next Friday night. I don't know if you were on here, girl, but I will be in Miami next week, so I won't be back till Sunday. But we're gonna try to make this on Friday nights, probably a little later than now, probably about 8 between 8 and 8:30. That gives West Coast and East Coast can both kind of get on here, which is good. It was so good. In our team meeting, I was cooking Wednesday. Yep, everybody is cooking. Everybody's doing a little this or that. I love it. Um, Everything is very good, Renee. Thanks for asking. We are. We are good. We are healthy. Um, we are getting it done. We are working hard in the new business, but it is definitely showing itself. So we're getting ready to go down for the leadership school in Miami. We leave on Tuesday. So yeah, yeah, life is good. Life is good. Just it feels good to be happy again. It feels good to have purpose again. It feels good to feel like I'm helping people again. It feels good to just feel like life is moving in a positive light again and not always trying to deflect the negative. So I am forever grateful for that for sure. You need a cookbook and a restaurant. No, Rebecca, what I don't want is a restaurant. Um, what I do know, and I don't know if many of you know this, but back in the day, well, I when I was a little girl, my mom was a waitress, And I loved what she did. The people always loved her. And when my dad was working, my mom would take me into work with her, and she would put me at the counter part. We had a counter bar type thing where people could eat there too. And then, of course, booths and tables and everything. And my mom, of course, who was just the most personable person ever, um, I would watch her, but what I would watch is people leaving money on the table for her. And even back then, the tips were good, right? And she was on what we called the 301 Strip, is where this restaurant was. And that was in Southern Maryland. It was the place everybody went. They had like these kind of like a mini Vegas where there were different types of bars and hangouts where some of the people, like I will be aging myself and my mother, like Buck Owens, Roy Clark, some of the people who were back when I was a little girl, which would have been late 60s, early 70s. And these people would actually come in and they would eat there. My mom would wait on them, if you can believe it. And I watched, and then when I turned 18 and finally graduated after mom had died, I got my first job was at a restaurant called the Ranch House. And what's really crazy about this is that I didn't have any experience and they needed a waitress, but I needed a job badly. Things were not good at my house. My stepmother was not a fan of me. She wanted me out. My dad was just my dad, right? And y'all know that story. Like, he just wasn't the best dad. And I had to go into this place and actually decide that I was going to sell myself. And I can remember that the head waitress came over to interview me, and here I am, 18 years old, and she had three other women that were sitting there that she was going to interview, and they had lots of experience. And, I had to be honest, like, this was going to be my first job. So, you all wonder, like, Molly, where do you get what it is that you do? And, like, you come on and you're inspiring and you do this and you do that. And here's the truth. Even back then, I guess there were signs of it, because I knew if I wanted this job, and I had tried to get a job everywhere, um, I knew that I was going to have to really sell myself. And so when I sat down, she said, why should I hire you? Why should I hire you over the people um, who have experience that I could just show them how to do whatever and they already know? And I said, you're right. Maybe you should. I said, but I really need a job. I need to make money. And I said, what I promise you is this. I will always show up. I will always show up. I will be responsible. And I said, if you will take a chance on me and you will teach me how you want me to waitress for the next 2 weeks, I said, if you don't like how I'm doing, if it doesn't work out, then you can just fire me and I'll walk away. But I need a job. I need a job, and I love people. I love making sure everything's okay for with everybody. I love food. I need this job and I need it badly. Um, and I did tell her the story. I told her my mom had died and that my mom was a waitress when I was a little girl. And I said, and I used to watch her, and I know that probably doesn't mean anything when you're 5 or 6 years old, but I said, I think I know what it takes to get the job done and make sure people are happy so that they want to come back. So I know I'm asking you to take a chance on me, but I promise that I will never disappoint you. And she said thank you, sent me on my way. And I won't lie, I thought for sure one of those three ladies that were sitting in the bench over there, I just knew they were going to get the job, right? It wasn't going to be me. And she called me that evening and she said, I need you to go get a solid white uniform. We wore white dresses, right? with white tennis shoes, and then we had brown or orange, one or the other, aprons that we wore for our order book and this and that. Because remember, back in the day, you didn't punch everything into computers then. And she says, if you show up, she says, I need you to show up at 4:30 in the morning to help us prep for the morning shift. And I thought, oh dang. And I said, I'll be there. I just remember saying I'll be there. And I remember I had to borrow the money from my dad to go get this uniform, and only got one because I wasn't sure if this was going to work out, which meant I was going to have to wash my uniform every night if I got the job. I remember I went. I remember it was hard. It was the hardest work I had ever done. I remember the blisters that I got on my feet. I remember that it would have been really easy to call in the second day. Um, and but I didn't. I doubled and tripled band-aids on my feet, and just got dressed and went back in. I remember making mistakes. I remember the first time I broke a saucer and a cup. I remember I remember thinking I am never going to get the hang of it. I remember burning the toast in the toast machine. We had this toast machine where it just constantly rotated, and accidentally I must have hit like how dark or how light it was supposed to be. And then when you were done doing something darker or lighter, you were supposed to like holler out so everybody know on light, on dark, whatever. And otherwise, it was perfect toast, right? And we had all different toasts. We had rye, we had wheat, we had white, we had all that. We just didn't have gluten free because one thing back then. Um, and there was a certain way you had to write the order down to give to the cooks because you had to put a copy of the order up there for them. I mean, guys, it was a lot. It was not this thing. I mean, people think waitressing is hard now. It is not easy, right? It is hard work. But when you had to write down everything and you had to add up everything by hand, there was no such thing of all that happening for you and running credit cards and all of that stuff. It just didn't happen. And I can remember at the end of that week, because she had told me at the end of the first week, I will let you know. And I had asked for 2 weeks. Um, and um, she said, I remember her sitting me down and saying, Molly, you've made some mistakes, but the one thing that you always did is you always showed up. And she said, you were never on time, you were early. And she said, and that impressed me because most people who come here who are 17 or 18, they don't. They're either late or they show up right on time. She said, everything I asked you to do, you did. You didn't ask why. She said, you didn't let the things that you messed up on hinder you. You just kept going. And she said, you've got the job if you want it. She says, but I'd recommend maybe getting a couple of more uniforms with your first paycheck. And I can remember I was so happy. I was so happy. And by the way, so happy, but do you know what I was making an hour? I was making 201 an hour. That's what waitresses made, 201 because you made your money on tips, right? And it was an experience, but I absolutely loved it. Once my feet got used to the blisters and they turned into calluses, I was okay. I loved it. But it was my first experience with people. And you know what happened? What happened is the more I showed up, I figured out exactly what they expected of me. The more I showed up, I figured out time and time again how to write those orders out. The more I showed up, I knew the quickest way that when there were empty dishes on the table, when you went back to check on the people, you took the empty dishes off the table then. That way you didn't have as much to clear when you after they left. There was so much that I learned, but the reason that I kept learning it and the reason I got good at it because I knew nothing about it except what I had seen my mom do. And it's because I kept showing up and I kept learning and I didn't let the mistakes and I didn't let the failure or the broke dishes or the burnt toast or any of that get to me. I just kept at it all the time. I wanted to be so good. I wanted her to think that I was her best chance, the best person she'd ever took a chance on. That's that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to be known at. I wanted to know that I would just keep going. I don't think I knew that was my attitude then, but it was because one, I needed the money. And here's the other thing: when people didn't show up, or when people wanted their wanted to take a shift off, I worked with some girls who were 16 and 17 who had phony IDs, who loved going to the clubs in the area, and I in no way was interested in that. They would say, "Hey, do you want to work a double? Do you want to take my shift?" And I would take their shift. I would take their shift because I needed to make the money. The rent was due yesterday. I needed to prepare for my life. I had a car payment. I had car insurance. I had to make the money. I had to get it done. And I did. And my life became work, because shortly after that, my dad threw me out. Yeah. Talk about really needing money then. And I remember putting it out to everybody out there. Hey, if anybody needs someone to take their shift, tell me. I will do it. So I worked many double shifts, but what I didn't realize is as I was getting to know customers and new people in the area who were coming in, if you came into this restaurant, you could say, "Does Molly have a table open in her section?" Or they would say, "I'll wait for Molly's section." And I had 4 booths, 2 tables, and I had half the counter. There were 15 seats at the counter, and I had the last 7. And people would actually wait. They would say, "Molly, you've got 2 tables waiting on you, or you got a table of 5, or a table of 4, a table of 2 waiting for you." And it kept me going. You talk about hustling. I hustled because I didn't want them to go, "Oh no, it's taking too long. It's taking too long. Just put us at somebody else's table." People would come in and ask for my table. I don't know if I realized what a blessing that was then, but these are people that, because they loved the service so much that they got, that their tips were higher. Back in that day, if somebody left you $2 or $3, because you figure this was like in the 80s, that was great. And it was just a mom and pop shop, right? But these people would leave me $10. They would leave me $15. Even if they left me $5, some people would come in and get a couple of pieces of pie and coffee after church, and they would leave me $5. And I mean, it was so easy, but they were so nice. And I developed a relationship with them. This is not just direct sales or multi-level marketing or any other business that you're in. Anything that you're doing where people are involved is a relationship business. That is probably where this is going, and I didn't know we were going to talk about this. Um, I loved what I did then. It was hard work. It was so hard. But from that, let me tell you what happened. Hey, Lisa, good to see you. Good to see you on here. I just saw your name pop up. From this, what I want to tell you is I was always willing to learn more. I hope this makes sense. I was hired as a waitress, and but in the end what happened is when the busboy didn't show up and I was ending my shift, if he didn't show up for something, I'd say, "I'll stay a couple of more hours. You want me to bus tables?" Because you know what? If you bust the tables well, the waitresses would tip you. I tipped my busboys, right? So I would go, it's not like I have anything to do but to go home and sit, so I'll stay. So I learned how to be the best at bussing tables and how to make the most time advantage out of it. And when the dishwasher didn't show up, do you know what I did? I said, "Show me how to run the machine back here. If you show me, I'll do it. I'll help out. I'll do this." And what do you know? Before I know it, if there was another shift wasn't, they would pay me a higher fee, and I knew how to do that. And then one time the cook ended up not showing up because he was drunk or high or something, and they had to ask him to leave. And look, I knew how to flip eggs. I knew how to cook steak. I knew how to cook the French fries. I knew all of that, right? But I just had never done a line of this with food for so many people. And I went back there with one of the owners, and I'll never forget, he sat there and he taught me how to do this. By the time my 4th year was over with Ranch House, there wasn't anything that I didn't know how to do. I was hostessing. I would come in, and if I needed more money, I would seat people when that shift was open, and I would count out. They trusted me with the money, and I would drop the money in the vault, and I was, scheduling. I helped manage the restaurant and making the shifts and ordering the food that we were going to need in mass quantities, and they showed me how to judge that. Um, at the end, there wasn't anything in the restaurant that I didn't know how to do. And do you know what I did? I made myself valuable to every single department in that restaurant. What I didn't know is that the owners were paying attention. And what would happen is they owned six other restaurants all over Maryland and Virginia. And so when they would need somebody to come over and train somebody, they would say, Molly, we will pay you X amount of dollars if you come over to Springfield or Fairfax or Alexandria where they had their stores. And they said, if you'll spend your shifts over here, we will pay you extra. Will you come train these people in the next week? We would love for you to do that. Or would you come work these shifts because we're running short? You learn what you have to learn to make yourself valuable. You know what happened? If they ever needed to cut somebody in those restaurants, do you know who wasn't getting cut? I wasn't, because I was valuable. I say this because if you have a job and you're just showing up just to show up and you're not giving your best and you're not saying I'm going to do this 100% of the time, if you do not make yourself valuable to the people that you are with, what happens is when it comes time to cut people, if you're just like everybody else and you don't stand out or you don't show up all the time, if you aren't early instead of late, if you're not, what happens is you're never going to be there when it comes time to pick that person. I believe we all deserve to give our best. Not that you all have to be waitresses like I was. That's not it. But even in the industry, for years, you guys, when I was in Avon, you'd be like, I don't understand. I don't understand why you're successful. And then you would say things like, I know what you're telling us, but I don't understand why you did that. Why did I do that? Because there was loyalty from my customers because of what I did, because of the way I paid attention, because it was a personal relationship and I knew who their dogs and their cats were and I knew the names and I knew who their husbands were when they talked to them with me. And they wouldn't have ever shopped with anybody else because they were with me. And when I left the state I was in, when they left the state was they still wanted to shop with me. And even many more now with different needs, they want to shop with me, even with what my new stuff is now in my new company, because I think they love the personal relationship. They knew I would be honest with them. So what I'm telling you is the game has not changed, y'all. If you're new here and maybe you were never privy to my live streams before, the point is make yourself valuable, first of all, to yourself. Know that you are giving your absolute best, but that you're consistently doing it all the time. I look at the success that my team and I have. It's not luck. I want to say lucky, but it's not luck. I have a team full of people who bring such value to what I do now because they bring years of experience from other companies. Um, Companies that let them down, companies that were not the same anymore, companies that changed stuff, companies that they said this isn't worth it to me, I'm not making enough money, I know my skills, I know what I love, I know what I can do, but I need something I can sink my team in, but I also teeth into, but I also need to know that I'm appreciated, I need to know that I'm loved. I need to know that they see me. I need to know that they understand what I'm giving to this. And I need to know that whoever I'm working with, I can do my best for them. For me and my team, it's showing up. It's showing up. We have team meetings every single Wednesday. And if they show up, or even if they can't, they're with their other jobs or sick, whatever, I always have to be there. I have to be there because I want to be there. I want to show up. I want to laugh. I want to know what makes them tick. I want to have fun. I want to praise them. I want to support them. I want to uplift them. And it's still the same here. This is why it's onward the next chapter. Because some things don't change. Lee and I are still here, and no matter what you're doing in this life, whether you're still with Avon or you're with many different companies, and that's okay too, no matter what you're doing, we want to know that you're still doing it well. We want to know that you are still happy in what you're doing, that you still find just the relationships in that and the partnerships in that that you deserve, and that hopefully you're still looking for, that you're not like just in the flow, whatever way the wind blows, this is what we're going to do. No, no, no. That you still love it, that you can't imagine not doing it, that it's still producing what it is that you want, that you are still happy that every time you step out of your comfort zone, you are getting something great out of it. That's what I hope. And so when I think back, here I was, 17, 18 years old, and I realized that even back then, I knew people don't just see value in you. You have got to prove yourself valuable. You do. You do. Don't be the person who just goes whichever way the wind blows. If there is something for you to learn new, you got to let go of the fear and you got to get in there and you got to learn it, y'all. If you want to be better in your business, if you're okay with where you're at, it's good. But if you're not, you gotta jump out. If you're like, well, I've never had events before, I've never done this, I wouldn't know how. Neither did I until I had my first one. And do you think the first event I ever had was perfect? It wasn't. Not by any means. Not by any means. But every event that I had, I learned more from the things that I made mistakes on than I ever did the things that were perfect. That's the truth. You will always learn more from the times that you fail than from the times that were massively successful and you can just celebrate, because you learn how to tweak, you learn how to take it and do it differently. And that's what I want for you. Let me see here. Let me go back here and let me look at some of... Uh-oh. Let me see. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Oh, wow, there's lots been going on. Sorry, guys, this hasn't been moving up on me here. Let me see. Don't care about customer service anymore yet. Oh, hey, Chris Foster. I don't know if you're still on here, but I see you, babe. Good to see you. Learn as you go and fake it till you make it. Never let them see you sweat. There you go, 100%. Yeah, customer service isn't like it used to be. I waitress most of my working life, very hard, but I loved it. Dev, I hear you. I hear you. Look, it would be hard now, but you know what? No harder than me door dashing, right? All the door dashing. It just would be warmer because I'd be in a restaurant, right? But again, it's customer service for sure. Yeah, Lee says work like the rent is due and you got nothing in the bank and your life depends on it. Most everything that I've done, even my days when I first started Avon years ago, 21 years ago, that's what it was. Remember, y'all know. Left my house in the middle of the night, middle of a mean divorce, took my kids with me. They were coming to get the van. Thank God for my brother and sister-in-law who let me take the downstairs of their house and basically make it into a makeshift home for me and my kids, which I was hoping was going to be for a little while, but it was longer than a little while. And I needed to make myself valuable there too, right? Like I needed to tell them, I never want you to regret. Do you see the similarities here? Even when I was moving in and my brother let me, look, I worked for my brother then, but him letting me come live with him and letting my boys be there, and I had to make myself valuable, not because he told me to, because I wanted to make sure that it was always a valuable decision that he let me do that. I knew that I could put things together. I knew that I could clean well. I knew that I could watch their dogs if they went on vacation. I knew that I could work late for him and didn't have to rush home because my boys were there. I knew that I could fix meals. I knew that I could stack wood. I knew that I could mow grass if I needed to, plant all the flowers of the bulbs in his yard. I knew that I could be valuable so that he was like, man, what happened before Molly ever got here, right? Like, I always wanted to know that when somebody made a bet on me, when somebody decided to choose me, even if they were in doubt, that they were always happy that they made the choice. Always happy. Even when I joined Avon, or even with Market America, look, it's only been two companies I've really thrown myself into. I've done some other little things, but just never thrown myself into it. But whether it was door dashing, even when I was Ubering, when people would get me again when I was Ubering, can I tell you? They would be like, people had my phone number and they're like, hey, Molly, me and my boys going out tonight. We want to go up to the Green Turtle. Like, are you available tonight? Are you working tonight? If you're not, if you come get us and take it, we'll pay you double what Uber would have, because they loved the fact that I made it easy for them, that I had a vehicle that could cater to all of them, that I made it fun with the music, that I laughed with them. And I, even then, was Mama Molly to all of them then. And these were people who just, again, I wanted the people to want me, because if so, guess what that was helping me do? Meet my goals. And most of the time with stuff like that, it was financial goals. But no matter what it took, I knew that somewhere I could find within me, or just modify my skills and say, I can learn this. I can do hard things. I can do things that should make me tired. Starting a new company like I did was not easy. I know I keep going back to this, but I need you to know 61 years old when I started with Market America. Things were falling apart for me in Avon. Never thought I would be there, but it happened, whatever. Had to do something and add that extra stream of income. But what I did know is if I started with a new company, I was going to have to jump in. I was going to have to show up big time. Just like in order for me to have the top orders from DoorDash, guess what I had to do? I had to show up all the time. And sometimes I had to do some of the crappy little ones. Lee would follow people on Reddit and DoorDash, and they would, I'm not taking any of these small orders. I don't know who these people think they are. And not that I think anybody should have taken all of them. But we did, because we had to, in order to keep our rating up. And if we kept our rating up, DoorDash found value in us because we did this. And then when they found value in us and we went up to platinum status and all these other statuses that they had, guess what? When the really good dashes came, or the really good Uber rides came, guess who got them? I got them. When people want to complain about, oh, well, this company's having this incentive and you've got to do this, this, and this, and why do they always give it to these people? Guys, it's not that they always gave anything to people. It's that those people worked really, really hard and consistently and never expected it to be handed to them. And they said, I'm going to earn this. It's no different than how it should be. Look, your sports players, when they want the scholarships, when they want an NFL team to look at them, they had to take their skills and they had to improve them, and they had to practice, and they had to get up earlier, and they had to stay late, and they had to do what the other people were not doing. So if your business is not where you want it, you have to first say this: is my business not where I want it because of me? What am I not doing? What could I do more? Think about it, because you have to look in the mirror. You can't, it's so easy for people to go, well, because the company does this, and because the company did that, and because of this, and because of that. You can blow it off on other things all you want to. But me, I had to make sure that even when I bought in an extra stream of income, that it was because there was not anything else I could do to make where my heart was better. Like, I couldn't change anything that was happening. If I could not make it better, if I could not make my income more or bring it back to what it was, if I could not fix the problem, then guess what? Then it had to be something else. So then I had to make sure that whatever I chose was going to have all the things that weren't okay anymore. I had to make sure those things were okay with them. But I also decided that no matter what I did, I was going to give it my all. My all. It's what you have to do with anything that you want to get good at. I don't care what anybody says. You can be, you can work at Walmart and start out as somebody who is checking people out, right, and making X, Y, Z, whatever that looks like. Correct? You could be. But if you really want to move up and make more, you know what you have to do? You have to show up, and when they say, do you mind? Will you work customer service? Will you do returns? Will you do this? Are you willing to stay an extra hour? What does this look like? You've got to be willing to say yes. Yes, you are going to be the person they come back with. But you know what? When a position opens, maybe their position opens, and somebody looks at them, their boss, and says, who's the next one? Who would you recommend for this job? You should be the person who comes up in their head. They should say, well, I'll tell you somebody who shows up for me no matter what, who was there, who shows up, whether it's storming, no matter what's happening. Hey, they show up. This is what I know. Anybody I've been involved in, look, I even worked Target for a while. Another episode where Avon wasn't doing so well in the middle of business, and I had to make some more money. So I worked at Target part-time, and then it went a little bit more than part-time. And I started out just as a cashier, started around Christmas time when they were hiring people. And by the time that was done, I ended up working there almost 2 years. They wanted me to stay. They wanted me to stay, and they wanted to move me up into the Target Corporation. And all of that was about that as I moved up and never even asked, was never full-time with them or anything. It was, we need somebody who shows up like you. We don't want to lose you. What can we pay? But see, the thing is, my heart was in direct sales. My heart was in mentoring people. My heart was in what I was doing. And I said, I appreciate this. I do. And it warms my heart that you want me. But my heart is in my business. I've put so much into it. And if I give you more, I have to take it away from something else. They understood it. They respected it. But what I walked away with is the fact that if I went back to that store and I ever need a Target again, do you know what I know? My reputation and what I did and the way I showed up, it was going to speak for me. Because I would have never burnt the bridges. So, you know, I just hope you're showing up. I hope you're showing up. I do. I hope that you don't give up when you make mistakes. I hope you don't give up when you haven't seen exactly what you want to see. If you're starting something new like I am, you know you got to be not twice as patient. You got to be 10 times as patient because you're starting something new that you haven't done before. And you've got to figure out how this is going to work for you. If you're new in any industry right now, I tell you first, show yourself grace. Second, I would say, work harder than you ever have if you really want to do well. And know that it's going to take time. Because everything takes time. You don't just jump into something and then suddenly you're making $1 million. Or if so, give me the name of the place because I haven't found it yet, right? Lee had said on here, he said you have to have the attitude that says you may be smarter than me and have more experience than me, but you will never outwork me. And that is what I know. I know that nobody ever outworked me. Ever. Ever. Nope. Because I know how I work. I know my work ethic. And I know many times I was working and was worth a whole lot more than what I was working for. But they would never say it's because I wasn't worth what I was making. So I hope that with everything you learn from this, whether you are on live or rather you are watching this on replay, whatever it is, give yourself a chance to be great. And don't tell me that you don't want to be great at something, because I got news for you. I'm not stupid. Everybody would like to be great at what they do. But sometimes you look at what it requires to be great or to be at the top of your game, and you may say, well, that's not worth it to me. Well, if it's not, that's okay. It's up to you. But what you're not allowed to do is complain about it not being great for you when you're not willing to put in the work that it requires to be great. Being great at something will give you some self satisfaction, but like me, if the only person who saw it was a boss, that wouldn't be okay for me because what I do and what I try to be great at has to help others. It has to be able to dictate something I can share to people like you. That I can say, hey, look, yes, you can do this. Or if somebody comes into my new business, or I can say, yes, you can do this, but I've got to be honest. You got to give it time. You got to know it's new. You got to say, this is what I want to do. If you're in something now and you're like, I just started it and I don't know what to do, just the beginning. You know what to do. Come on. You got to start out. If it's product born, number one, what product do you love? What do you love and what are you sharing? You got to stop looking for all the wrongs and you got to find the rights. You got to concentrate on what you love. And what I will tell you, if what you love keeps outweighing what you can't control, you're okay. You're in the right place. But when that switches and what you can't control outweighs your love or your work or your effort and what you're doing, that can sink you. That can sink you 100%. It was starting to sink me. I know that. When I felt like I was not useful to you guys because I could not come in and be able to tell you what I believed in and what I loved and what I still saw in a company that was my heart and my soul for so long. It took me forever to see that it had nothing to do with the company that I used to be a part of. Because what I grew up in at the age of 40 to 60 brought such intense learning and beauty and knowledge and understanding and friendship and all the things. Failures that helped me learn. It brought so much, but the moment it shifted, the moment ownership shifted and ways of doing things shifted and love of the people shifted, those kind of things, I realized it was no longer my wheelhouse. But see, I didn't want to admit it. I didn't want to admit it, and I was not useful to you guys because I could not tell you any longer that I believed in that particular company in the industry anymore. But it didn't mean that you couldn't. And it didn't mean that I wouldn't keep supporting you, even if I couldn't support the company anymore. It didn't mean I didn't want you to be successful with the company. So the only way for me to be able to support you and what you were doing and get back to what I'm doing with you right now is for me to find my joy again in a company who absolutely loves me, absolutely supports me, absolutely does what's best for the people who are digging in the trenches. I had to get back to seeing the appreciation and seeing the goals and seeing the growth and the honesty and the communication, because when I have those things, I can thrive. I can thrive and I can be your biggest cheerleader. But you guys are my people, so many of you, and I will always be your biggest cheerleader. I will always want to see you succeed. I will always go like your post. I will always tell you how beautiful you are. I will always laugh at your jokes. And I'll probably always call you back when I think that you're being that person because that's what I do. But I will love you through it. And that's what we're back to doing in here. That's what I want. So whatever it is that your goal is, on Friday nights, we're going to start tackling attitude and finding your way again if you felt like you lost it. And a lot of fun. A lot of fun with it too. Um, I might share some things and some products that may help you be better at your game no matter who you're with, because maybe you need something because You know, your anxiety's up, or maybe you need something that, like, you know what, I can't get this right now where I'm at, but I need to get something. What can you, look, that's what we're here for. We're all here to help one another, no matter what it is. But I can love you even through my hardest times because, see, you all were the best part of what was left for me in that. And for those who are here and they were brave enough to be here, because if you're still with Avon and you're here in this group, I don't take that lightly. I know it's a risk for you, whether you have leaders who are still with Avon who may not be real happy with me because of what went down. And who may not really know the real story if they haven't been told. But that's okay. They don't need to know. Um, it was a risk for you to say, Molly is still my friend. I still love Mama Molly. I still want to know what she's doing. I still want to support her. She still wants to support us. This friendship was not based on a company. It was based on our relationship. That's the part they didn't get anymore because there just wasn't the same people in there. That's all. That's why it wasn't gotten, because there wasn't the same people in there anymore. But we got it. So for the 1,400, almost 1,500 of you who have come over and you are part of this, we are going to be bigger and better and happier and more joyful and entertaining one another and laughing at one another and walking each other through the failures and sharing life and experiences and all of that stuff, no matter what. We are going to do that in here on Friday nights. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get back to the joy. We're going to get back to crying with each other for a moment if that's what we've got to do, and then getting right back up and doing better. That's what we're going to do. So when I get back from Miami, I hope we're going to get back to that. So not next Friday, but the following Friday, we're going to make this into a Friday night thing. And I think I'm going to set it up for 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to talk to Lee about it to make sure. And if so, it's going to be an ongoing, repeating event, that the only time I can't do it is if there's a family event or I'm out traveling with my company or whatever that looks like. But we're gonna do this because somewhere in all this, I still need you and you still need me. And by the way, there's other people in here now that are from my new company. They've come in and they want, they want to look, they like to laugh too and have a good time and see what other people are doing. They like all of that. There are people in here who are from Mary Kay. There are people in here from Scentsy, people from Tastefully Simple, people from Pampered Chef, people from Tupperware. I mean, all over. And there are people who are in here who aren't part of direct sales at all. At all. They're just in here because we're connected. I have family that's in here, right? I have friends who are in here from high school. This is just a place that I may share what I'm cooking out in the main world. But if you want the recipe, you got to come in here and get it. You got to come in here because I believe that when people come in here and they experience all of you, supporting, laughing, sharing what you find, sharing the inspiration, the motivation, the funny stuff, all of the things that we do, praying for each other, just raising each other up. I believe everybody needs a community to do that. And I don't think everything has to be out there in the public. I do a lot of stuff in the public. Y'all know I'm a social media hoe. You know that. I'm on everything out there. I am sharing everything. But this is where the magic happens. Right here. Onward. The next chapter. The first chapter was beautiful. It may not have had the perfect ending, but it was beautiful. And I will never, ever regret it. But we're going to keep going with this next chapter. And we're just going to figure out how we can still be our best and keep moving forward. So keep at it. Keep at it. Don't give up on you. Don't give up on what you're doing. If you're having a bad time in a relationship, bad time at work, whatever that looks like, it's okay. We all have that. And we're all here to be honest and share with each other and support each other. So I will see you here. Not next week, but the week after. But hey, make sure you're following me or we're friends on my main Facebook, because When I'm in Miami, I'm going to be sharing everything that we're doing there, right? With the team and different new products we have coming out and the people who are going to be speaking. If you know Fat Joe, Fat Joe's going to be there. He's a rapper. I didn't know that before my sons and all them told me that, my husband. Gary Brecka, big health guy who I've fallen in love with as far as being able to break things down for me. And then, of course, our own Lauren Reitinger, who is the founder and CEO of the company, who just came out with her book, Scrambled or Sunny Side Up, and it is on the New York Times bestseller list in the first week. I was able to be on the book launch on that. Just so exciting, so exciting. She shares her story on grief and recovering from it when her husband tragically just died, wasn't sick or anything, just it just happened. I just how people just recover from that, but it took her a minute. But it's also about recover. Do what? No, what, Lee? What are you talking about? Yes, there was. Kim for the book. Yes, there was. There was, but I have to get it. I have to get it signed. So nothing is signed yet. Yeah, yeah. And as far as the samples already went out. They were chosen. They were chosen right away. And they already went out. I think people have already started getting them. Matter of fact, I've seen them posting about it. So yeah. So we will keep up, and I will have many more books that are going to be signed when I get back by Serena Williams and by Lauren. So very, very excited about that. And if you don't have the book, go to Amazon. Get the book, man. Get the book. Go to BAM. Go anywhere you can. Go get the book. If you have a Kindle, get the book. If you have, get the book. If you have Audible, get the book. The book can help you. I'm on the second time reading it through now. It's a very easy read, but you will cry, you will laugh, you will be angry, you will be astonished, you will be inspired, you will be you will think, man, I need to step up my game in life, not in business, in life, in life if you're going to survive. So yeah, so do your thing, keep doing your thing. Let's keep doing our thing together and let's keep supporting each other. Have a great weekend. I'm gonna be packing for Miami. Me and Will Smith and Lee, we're gonna be singing with our sunglasses on. Welcome to Miami. Just watch. It's gonna be fun. Can't wait to share it with you. Talk to you guys later. Have a great evening.